What's up guys? Today I've got another video for you. I tend to get a lot of questions on my videos from people asking me how many calories I eat, how many calories they should eat, how to intuitively eat, etc, etc, etc. The first two questions I've already answered in an earlier video, along with several other questions regarding exercise and caloric requirements. However, the question of intuitive eating I haven't yet addressed, and it's also one that I've been getting over and over, so I thought I'd tackle that one today. Let's start off with a little story though. This particular story takes place in the middle of the night, when the house was dark and everyone was peacefully asleep, me included. I've been sleeping for maybe half an hour or an hour or so, when suddenly I shot up in bed. It was 12 at night. Let's reconstruct the scene a little. I was sleeping and sleeping and sleeping, but I must have been dreaming as well, because suddenly I was upright and wide awake. I tried to lie back down and get back to sleep, but to no avail. All of a sudden, the noise of a dying whale echoed between the walls and made the house tremble. Pause for a second. Yes, my stomach was growling, but this by no means implies I hadn't eaten enough during the day or that I'd restricted myself. I'd started off my day with a butter croissant and a bowl of milky oatmeal and honeydew melon. For lunch, I had 3 courses: tomato soup, Asian soy-drenched pasta with salmon and peas, and 1 extra large tortilla wrap with chili sin carne and sour cream that was overflowing from all sides. Then I had a proper portion of potatoes and meat and cauliflower and sauce for dinner, as I always do because we have big plates at home, like really huge plates, and I always want to fill the damn thing up with food. Then later I snacked on chocolate chip cookies and a large banana and some nuts and yogurt. I was by no means underfed when I went to bed. Although it's worth noting that dinner was earlier than usual, it was at 5 o'clock, which always has me munching more and more in the evening time. Play again. The roar of my stomach was so loud that I feared the house would collapse. So I decided to get out of bed. Usually I won't even get out if the house is burning down. But this time I did. I turned off the house alarm, made my way downstairs, and cut 2 slices of homemade bread. This is already larger than supermarket varieties, and because it was still fresh, it was very hard to cut, and the slices were incredibly thick, which was totally okay with me. For my reconstruction though, I cut normal slices. I swear, I'm not a pig. Anyway, I royally covered my bread with like a kilo of homemade walnut butter, which I made less than a week ago and which is now already finished. I then munched that up, poured myself a glass of milk, drank the milk, went back upstairs, turned the alarm on, and went back to bed. It took me a little while to then fall asleep. I would have probably dozed off earlier had I not gotten out of bed at all, but it did feel like I'd done the right thing. I mean, I'd listened to my body, and in the end, that's really important. That's the point I'm trying to get to in this video. Yes, it's great to eat a variety of foods and to get in all them nice little vitamins and nice little minerals and proteins and carbs and fats, etc, etc. But what's more important is to not only reach these goals and to reach any calorie goals or requirements you might have, but to also listen to what your body tells you. My body told me after all that I ate that day to eat more, so I did. Even if it was the middle of the night, I did. It is so important not to restrict, even in situations like this or at times like this. For example, at the end of the day, you might have already reached your goals or your 2,000 or 3,000 calorie requirement or goal, or whatever like you tell yourself you need to gain or maintain weight. But this does not necessarily mean that this magical number suffices on any given day. Usually I eat between 2,500 to 3,000 calories, yes, but on some days I do eat more. This is normal. Some days I do have more cravings than others. This is also normal. It is normal to be on the lookout for these cues and to really listen to them. Even if you know, well, usually if I eat this, that's enough. Sometimes it just won't be. Of course, there's still days when I personally feel like I could have eaten more, and there's days when I go to bed and I feel like I'm about to explode, but who doesn't have these days? It's part of life and the concept of intuitive eating. So I researched the definition, and intuitive eating is a nutritional philosophy based on the premise that becoming more attuned to the body's natural hunger signals is a more effective way to attain a healthy weight, rather than keeping track of the amount of energy and fats in food. So basically, it means that if you eat what you want, whenever you want, and that you eat when you're hungry and until you're full, you're really following this thing called intuitive eating, and you're listening to your body, and you will attain the weight that works for your body. No restrictions. Your body will tell you what it needs, when it needs it. Intuitive eating is in fact quite a complex thing at first, as you'll have to listen to your body after having ignored its cues for so long. So if you don't yet know how to eat intuitively, or if you're used to eating much too little, I'd suggest probably starting off with a meal plan and regularly spaced meals and snacks spread out throughout the day, building up portions if needed. Foods and quantities should be all laid out. Following such a plan gets your body used to regular meals, proper quantities, and it takes the initial stress and anxiety out of, well, eating and choosing what to eat. After a while, you might feel ready to stop this meal plan, to start relying on your own body, and that's perfectly fine. By this time, you'll also generally start getting hunger cues and getting hungry around the times you have your next meal planned. But of course, if you're hungry between meals, you should not really see this as a problem either. Then there's still the question of what to eat. You might be eating regularly, but that does not necessarily mean you aren't cutting out food groups or avoiding fear foods or reverting to any other disordered behavior. It's important to notice when this happens. If you do struggle with this, I suggest at first putting scary foods into your meal plan to ease the fear you have of them, and to eat them regularly, really get over it. I personally find that generally my own body doesn't really crave junk food or all this processed crap, but if it does, I indulge. I mean, it's important to allow yourself this freedom. And it's much easier after having practiced by having had it in your regular meal plan for a few days or a few weeks or even months. After this time, it will no longer hold any power over you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, that it helped you somewhat, and that if you yourself have struggled with any of this, or if you have recovered from an eating disorder and have any tips for others, that you do leave them below. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.